Hey, good evening. Buenas noches. Historias urbanas con Don Armando.
Yeah, look like we have a little bit of technical difficulties. Mm. Hey, how you doing, Don Jose? I'm just here waiting for somebody to come through again. So it is what it is. Hey,
Good
how you doing,
evening.
Don Jose?
Oh, I'm doing fine, thank you. How you doing?
Good evening. I'm doing okay. I'm trying to have a urban chat, but for some reason, I guess Saturdays, I guess Fridays, it'd be bad for I guess the artists. I'm still trying to make something happen.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, there's certain nights when you have multiple creators that do streams. We just got off of Radical Latino, and of course, you're having your stream now, and then Magic is doing her stream in a while as well. So it's
Yeah,
like
because the thing is, though, I'm trying to yeah, because the stream that I'm trying to do is like only pertaining to other streams that they do what they do. So
yeah.
that's why I'm just like, okay, it is.
Well,
Yeah,
it's just a question of it's
but
just a
but
question
in
of
other
time.
words, how's everything up in New York?
Oh, fine. Actually, believe it or
Yeah.
not, I'm enjoying a night when I'm not doing overtime. I have been doing a lot of overtime this last 3 weeks. I have done a total of 112 hours of overtime.
Okay, got you.
So, so I'm enjoying a real night when I'm actually going to be able to sleep in my own bed. But so what's the topic for
Hmm.
tonight?
Yes. Nah, like my topic is I'm still trying to get like a lot of Dominican artists from here in Santo Domingo.
Yeah.
So at least I could try to get their stories out, because I'm like the thing is though, there's a lot of mistakes that are going quote unquote battles, people disrespecting each other's dad, like in the New York movement. So what? And a lot of people, they don't. A lot of the younger rappers, they don't know what's really going on, and I'm seeing them going through the same traps that my generation and the generation older than me have gone through.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, what happens is when we fail to learn from history, history gets repeated again.
Yes, you're absolutely right.
Yeah. I mean, look, and I'm sure I'm sure it's more or less the same thing, but there is a difference with the Dominicans that were born and raised here in the mainland, as to compared to those who were born and raised in the Dominican Republic. And of course, you know, part of it, I think, it has to do with identity, because it's like sometimes they're
Right.
not considered to be truly Dominican by the native Dominicans, and sometimes they try too hard to assimilate to American culture.
Yes, and the thing is though, I guess that's why I guess I have problems with some of my haters, as you've seen like within the last
Yeah.
year. And to me, a lot of the people that had their arguments and everything like that, they were laughing. I was just like, okay, why am I even spending my time here? I know what I am.
Mhm. Well,
So
the
I was like,
fact.
I stood on my 2 feet. That's it. And then I was, you can still talk.
Well, it's an old topic that keeps coming up, and my point is this: the only point that I can see when anyone tries to discredit a person's identity is to simply is the case to say "gotcha," which is like, what's your point? I mean, look, these people were not there when you were born. Okay, so okay, fine.
Right.
Your Spanish is not exactly up to snuff. Guess what? My Spanish is not exactly up to snuff either. But for whatever reason, I am not getting all this hatred regarding whether or not I'm considered Puerto Rican or not. I mean, it is acknowledged even by the so-called slow taps that I'm Puerto Rican. However, they're not extending the same courtesy to you.
And I'm going to tell you why, because there's a history because of this. What?
Okay.
And this is from my personal history. Now, be it as it's may, right? Most of Washington Heights is because of lighter skinned Dominicans and everything like that. And this Hispanic movement has been going. The first time I caught wind of it was actually in
Mhm.
2016, when I had a friend who was a drummer by the name of well, shout out to him, Cimarron, and
Okay.
a drummer, and he's a drummer in a band called Casa Tejada. So shout out to them. So when they was talking about, oh, and it was my friend Jesse Thomas also, you had these people in Dominican Republic that was like, oh, they were actually calling people who were who were telling them about themselves or whatever. They were trying to bunch, and then the Afro Dominican movement, and they were trying to call us the Afro Nazis because of think you're pro black, you think that you're actually supporting hate, which in total, it's not really the case. So by the time I just went up on Fighters on page, because me and Fighters on families are from the same part of the Dominican Republic. I called all this hate, and it felt like high school again. So
Mhm.
most of the people, from what I understand, the ones who always want to try to tell a Dominican who is Dominican or not actually come from the region, the towns, and everything like that called the Cibao. So the Cibao
Mhm.
has more of a lighter population, people that look like me also, but then the ones that have like defined hair, everything like that, I don't look Dominican to them. So therefore, that political movement that they want to try to say that they're more European. It was the European influence that made the Dominican Republic and everything. But my thing is this: either you have like maybe a small percentage of I guess European Latinos
Mhm.
in the Dominican Republic. They have contributed a lot to politics and everything. My thing is that they they want to the ones who are born here in America. They want to equate They want to equate all African Americans because of their hatred of them or whatever the case may be. They're up to the Republican Party, and they want to live the quote unquote the American dream. When the fact is that when like me say that I am a Dominican American, or I say I'm a Black Dominican, they want to go and try to go and correct me. So my thing is this: if there are no quote unquote Black Dominicans or whatever the case may be, why the heck they're with finer hair, but yet you take issue when I actually identify myself on who I am. I actually went up and showed my father. I showed I'm not, what more would they want? They want me to show my social security number. They want to show my parents' immigration records. I'm like, at the end of what I had to do, and people still hate. So therefore, I'm not going to go around and entertain people who are actually committed to misunderstanding me. And it's to the point that I was actually talking to another historian that he be on the panel sometimes, and I actually told, and me and him, it was like another um, post, it was another and I actually showed like who my family was. He got the point.
Mhm.
I don't see why all these other people, especially the black guy who wants to simp for the hairy woman. I don't see the point why. If I say what I am, you want to try to put me in another group. When the fact is, if a person were to actually research, so that's all I got to say. Shout out Taino Knight. That's all I got to say.
Yeah. Well, I think again, and I know I'm gonna sound like a broken record, but so be it. But it all goes back to the late 15th century and the early 16th
Like I say,
century when the Spaniards came to Hispaniola. Most of them did not bring women. So men, being who they are, they look for whatever females that was available so they can exercise their carnal urges. So what do? They pursue the time,
right.
the indigenous
They
ladies.
wouldn't have been procreated.
Yes, okay. And then and then they
Mm-hmm.
brought Africans as slaves to the island, and guess what? They did the same thing. That's why you have, at least as far as the Caribbean Latinos, you have people of different hues. I mean, it is logical. And the fact that DR was never fully white to begin with, because the first people, the first so called Latinos that came to the island, most of them did not bring their women. So as a result, they went and they do what men do with women. Okay? Unfortunately, some people they don't grasp the concept.
But they, it's not that they not it's that they want to try to push an agenda that was never there. They want to try to. This is one thing that I don't understand, right? With the my detractors and whosoever, I see right through them. They want to try to bring um American style racism to the Dominican Republic. So when you bring American style racism to the Dominican Republic, right? Their hope is that since it worked for the United States, it worked for us. So we need to get it doesn't help matters worse that you have certain Haitians that they believe that on the island, the nation of the Dominican Republic is theirs. So therefore, we're actually being attacked by Hispanistas, and then who actually wants to tell everybody that we're going to take over your land. So we have to fight those two forces. And me personally, I don't know, like, no offense to the Haitians, I don't know anything about Haiti. No, I don't want no, and I got Haitian friends, but I'm not going to be part of y'all. I'm being a Dominican. So with that said, you have with ignorant Hispanistas, they want to try to make it seem that that all the blacks in the Dominican Republic came from Haiti and the West Indies. When the fact is that if they actually went up and learned history, it was Fray Bartolomé de las Casas that actually wrote a letter to the Spanish crown. Because and which this is another fact which a lot of people don't actually say. Those soldiers that actually came to what is now known as Latin America, they're actually teenage boys. Yeah. Just one second. This you keep talking. All right, I'm back.
Okay.
So yeah, so they're actually exposing the peanut gallery, as you should
Hmm.
say.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm getting so much resistance. But it's like whenever I go to like all the other boroughs in New York, you might have certain people that they might try to do whatever, but then when they see that when they know me and whatsoever, I never really got any resistance. Like for example, when I was in eighth grade and sixth to eighth grade or whatsoever, when I said I was Dominican or whatever the case may be, I say I don't really know the Spanish that good. I still had Dominican people that were still embracing me as their own. You know what I'm saying? It's just
Yeah.
only when I meet some people in that certain section of New York that I'm always getting this type of hate, and it never fails.
Yeah.
I even sometimes get bad looks whenever like the last time I was in not I was going to a I was going to meet my cousin-in-law for dinner. You know what I mean? The next thing you know, you had some Dominican at me trying to bump me on purpose because he sees me with my wife. I'm like, you really? And the dude is even darker than me. So what does that tell you?
Unfortunately, sometimes the peanut gallery can become a peanut farm. I mean, with the number of people involved. I mean, and I've seen this, especially in these YouTube streets. Okay, and look,
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, don't bother to try to debate with these individuals if they're so convinced that you're not Dominican. Let them
Uh,
think that way.
I'm not getting. I'm not even. It's like this. Don't. I'm not gonna even try to debate with people. You know why? Because I'm going to tell you why. The only thing that I've seen and which I've seen worked is that when ignorant people they're so they're so full of themselves because of the ignorance and everything. Work. I could actually say this. Not it's violence. That's it. They could go and say what they want. Happen in the run. They're gonna meet somebody that they offended, and then they're either gonna partake or they're gonna be the victims of violence.
Hmm.
Let's be for real.
Yeah.
So
When everything is said
I'm
and
not even
done,
debate. That's my thing. Hmm.
when everything is said and done, it's so 2022. I mean, actually that's the new phrase I have. Is it's so 2022. It's so much in the past. And if people when they keep repeating the same stupidity of the past, I say let them and I say bless their hearts because they don't know any better.
I mean, like for example, right? It's funny that you mentioned that, and I guess it is too. So 2022. Or I guess it was last. Like I was like certain individuals meant me because of certain things. like for something like that. It was a certain person. They say it has a history of stalking people.
Hmm.
He actually came on my whatever. I was like, okay, so I was just on my community. I was like, what should we talk? What issues should like to be saying? People. Okay, nothing. We've met and we've talked behind and everything like that.
Hmm.
Whenever I started this internet, being an internet content creator or whatsoever the case may be, when was any time I ever clickbaited somebody or anything? That is my question. Because I know people do that, so therefore they could get views whatsoever. But I'm like at a point right now that if I'm gonna actually make content, I'm trying to make content without necessarily clickbaiting anybody. To me, I don't see what's even the point of clickbaiting. So
Hmm.
yeah,
I mean, look, the fact of the matter is these YouTube streets are infected by people who have mental issues. I mean, we see it all the time. We've seen it, we've seen it on multiple platforms, and we've seen it from certain individuals. It's just that this year I'm trying to avoid mentioning these individuals together. Not that I fear repercussions. It's just that I don't want to give them
yeah,
any more shine than they deserve. Um, Now you did mention something about that you got a little bit of feedback, you know, headache because she chose to let a certain individual to pop on their panel that many people do not like. And look, my
right,
philosophy is the following. Okay, there's gonna be people that I'm going to have peace with. Okay, okay.
right,
However, as long as they're being civil, okay,
right.
and as long as they do engage with me, they're being respectful. I don't care. Okay,
That's my goal.
okay.
It's
As
like
long, yeah, as
I
long
guess
as
whenever mhm.
okay, as long as the host is responsible, make sure that no one gets out of line. I really don't care. It's just that when the host does not do anything to put those guests in check, that's why going forward, whenever I'm on a platform where someone's being disrespectful and the host does not put that person in check, I'm going to consider the host just as guilty as the guest.
Right, yeah, you're right. And it's like at the end of the day, yeah, it's like to the point that it was like okay, like I wanted on a certain individual's platform. I said what I said, and when we were talking, I just talked with respect, right?
Hmm.
So I happened the next thing you know, I guess a certain person decided to mention me or whatsoever the case may be. So when I was hearing the conversation, and then the person was calling me okay, this person's friend and everything. I went up and I just defended myself in the chat. That was like, okay, I don't even live in the same state as this individual, but yet you're bunching me over an opinion just because of your problems with that person. So your point is that you're mad because the person you beef with is in my channel. Remind you, this person I just added a person because of the space that we was in, and I never really had beef with the guy or had any problems. But all of a sudden, they wanted to put my name in. I guess their problems. I'm like, okay, well, guess what? I'm not gonna go talk about nobody because you're not even worth the time. So I just started blocking a lot of individuals that are not really using my time. That are not even worth my time or to be debatable or anything because it's to the point that they could do whatever they want. I know for a fact that they're not going to actually show up or try to do anything because at the end of the day they could make a million videos. I guess I have like 226 subscribers. So hey, I hope I get to 1,000 this year, and I hope you get it to 1,000 too. So I'm going to try to work on that.
Thank
Don't
you.
Jose.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Look, let me tell it's no secret that the individual that you're referring to that was on your platform has been banned on my platform, but it is my platform. It is my choice. I
right.
do not dictate what other people do on their own platforms. All I ask is the following. It's just to make sure that we all act respectfully. And then whenever anyone
Exactly.
gets on the line, that you put that person in check. That's all I ask.
Yeah.
And as far as my haters concerned, they have their reasons why they have issues with me. Um, I'm just going to concentrate on being the best version of myself and try to avoid as much stress as I can. And I will deal with whomever I choose to deal with. Unfortunately, you have certain people that have said to me, I should not deal with this person, I should not deal with this person because they're wretched or what have you. Now, never mind the fact that I have a brain, never mind the fact that I have the ability to discern who is worthy of my friendship and who's not worthy of my friendship. I mean, for crying out now, I am 60 years old, so it's not like I'm some, you know,
Thank you.
18-year-old. Okay. And to be perfectly honest, with some of these individuals, I'm holding up to be their father. So I deal with everybody on an individual basis, and
Right.
based on that I make my decisions.
Yep.
But believe me, he just talk about don't mess with this person, don't mess with this person. It is so 2022.
I mean, it basically is.
Hmm. And I did get a little, heat when I came out with my second channel. Okay, I just wish people would actually read the mission statement regarding the second channel before they make a comment. Okay, and
Yeah.
but of course when they see the title and then all of a sudden it's like Wretched Central. I mean, look, I have known people from that side of the fence for almost a year, and for many of
Yes.
them, they have been very receptive towards me.
I mean, it's funny because that you mentioned that because I was I guess in some of those spaces as well. But it was funny. It's funny how me and Georgia we actually met,
Mhm.
and the way that he met because I guess he actually recognized my voice because I'm on Telegram. So when I'm on Telegram, I just act the fool. I just have fun, trolling people whatsoever the case may be. So when I just actually trolling people, and just being the wise. Well, I'll just say I'm a wise ass, whatsoever the case may be.
Mm-hmm.
When I'm just being like a wise ass or whatsoever. So JoJo heard me. He was like, "Oh, you're that guy from you're that guy from Telegram." I was like, "Hold up, you recognize my voice?" I'm like, "Okay." So with that said, me and Georgia, we actually linked up, and I actually liked what he was talking about. He's actually
Mm-hmm.
He's actually very respectful person, and is is to the point that I'm like, if God gives me a chance, I would like to meet up with that person also.
Yeah. Well, we took things that can happen, and I've met some great people from the from the golden sphere, and people talk about and treat it as it was a Jerry Springer show because of the certain situation with certain creators. Okay, all I'm gonna say is the following: if you're gonna make an assessment on anyone, try to get to know the person before you do that, and don't base your opinions based on what someone else has said. Um, Now, of course, I had my run-ins with certain individuals. Okay, it is what it is. There is good and bad in every community. I know that sounds old. I know that sounds quaint, but that is the reality. Just like
Yep.
there's some troublemakers in the biracial and multiracial community, we have our share of troublemakers in our circles as well.
Yeah.
And when one individual likes to make a notation that I'm a lonely old man, I do belong to certain circles. Okay,
Yes.
and I also have a following when it comes to my platform.
Right.
So I'm not exactly all that lonely. But it's that
Yeah.
person's choice to paint the narrative that person sees fit.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Do you follow football that much?
I do sometimes, but it's not like I really do because I don't really have cable like that. So it's like okay with me when it comes to sports and stuff, right? I can't really say I've actually watched a good sports game because I'm mostly working. Or if I'm mostly working, I'm outside with my wife or taking a vacation.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, I hear you. Because look,
So it's not. eh, I can understand that. Okay, if you have like your whatsoever the case may be, right? You have that. You could go and talk about the stats or whatsoever, and you could go and watch the sports and everything. But me personally, I'm not gonna actually go and do that because I'm trying to do something else. So if I hear about it here and there, I'm like, okay, yeah, I hear it. But it's not like to the point that I'm gonna go and dedicate my time just to watch that. The only time that I actually dedicate myself to watch anything of that matters when it's the Super Bowl. I hate to say, but that's me. Or when it's the championships for baseball. Not even the championship for basketball. I actually go and watch. Tell you the truth, because I'm so busy.
yeah. Well, I think this weekend's games, some of them would be very interesting. Of course, we know some of them. We know,
Yeah.
it's gonna, it's almost a sense that one of the teams is gonna win. That's for sure. Um, but we shall see. We shall truly see.
Yeah. Hmm.
But I do plan to travel this year.
Yes.
Okay. I mean, definitely what's on my hope to be on my itinerary is to go back to the DR, um, perhaps around May or July. I also want to go visit the West Coast. Uh,
Right.
I I've never been to Los Angeles, so I like to go visit there and
Right.
see things for myself. Because unfortunately, when we think of LA, we think of the smog, we think of the loony
Right.
that's over there, we think of Hollywood. Okay, and I'm sure that there are other things to see in LA other than that.
Yeah.
So,
And it, and it's and the thing is though, it's like out. It's like with LA to me, it's confusing. Like for example, right? You could have like a person could say like, okay, I'm from this, that, and so forth.
mhm.
Uh, you know, what I'm trying to say. Like you're from a certain neighborhood, right? But then if you do not know the dynamics of that neighborhood or whatsoever the case may be, it's gonna be weird because you're not from there. So
Mhm.
a person could say like, okay, I'm from this, that, and the third, right? But then
Yes.
if that person is not familiar with the area, I'm just saying because I've had this happen to a lot of quote unquote friends
Hmm.
that they actually had instances that they had to be run out of a certain hood because of I guess because they didn't know the lingo or whatsoever the case may be.
Hmm.
So I will try to go to I guess the good areas, and if I wanted to go to the bad areas, I'll try to reach out to somebody, and I'll be like, okay, so this is what I need to do. Like, how do I dress or whatsoever? Like, how do I stay safe, like in your area? That's it.
Yes. I mean,
Yeah.
it's logical when you think about it.
Hmm.
I mean, it is very logical when you think about it. Also I may plan another trip to Philly. When, I don't know,
Oh,
because
okay.
like I said, okay, look, between my regular job and the overtime that I'm doing right now, I'm working for 75 hours a week.
Yes.
Okay. And basically, why I'm doing this? Well, first of all, to make a little,
Because
make
of
a little. I mean, look, the fact of the matter is, to earn some extra money, and
hmm
especially now that I want to travel, and I want to, and one thing, when I go
right,
away on a vacation, I try to schedule myself so I make sure I have enough for whatever it is that I need to spend. And plus, if anything
hmm
happens, at the last minute, because if you have to be
right,
running on a vacation, on saving money during your vacation, you have no business going on vacation at all.
Right.
I mean, look, you figure out, okay, dependent on your mode of transportation is going to cost you so much. And then you have to think about
Yeah.
lodging. And then, so it's going to cost you
Right.
so much. And then you have to think about, okay, your meals. It's going to cost you so much. Okay. And
Right.
then maybe you might want to go some sightseeing, or you might look at, do some theater or whatever. So it's going to cost you so much. And who knows? And maybe if you ran into somebody that you might want to take that person
Yeah.
out to dinner, because it's going to cost you a little money there.
Right.
So that's the reason why when I do go on when I plan a vacation, I take everything into consideration. Okay, I take into consideration the hotel I'm going to stay in. I take into consideration my mode of transportation, how I'm going to get there, how I'm going to get around the city as well, and of course I calculate as far as what I'm going to eat for meals. Okay, so I plan everything very carefully.
Yeah.
So, and of course, you have to be mindful whenever you're traveling that you do what you can to blend in with the surroundings, so you won't be such a bigger target.
Yeah. Bienvenido,
Yo,
hermano. ¿Cómo está?
what's good, brother?
Yo,
What you doing
I'm
in
chilling.
here?
How's everything?
Everything's great, man. What's up with
Yeah,
you?
hungry hand.
What y'all
Not
talking
much,
about? What's
I'm
good?
just we talking about anything, but you know what? I'm glad that you came through. So,
Yeah,
how's
I
everything
came through
with you?
to
How's your career and everything?
came through to say what's up real quick, man.
Oh yeah, of course,
What's up
bro.
with
Cause I'm
you?
like,
What
yo,
you
cause
been up to?
well,
How
me,
you-
I'm just here chilling, and what I'm trying to do with La Historia Urbana is I'm trying to get the stories from our movement, the Dominican urban movement in New York, y allá en la República Dominicana, because I'm seeing that a
Okay.
lot of people who are actually going after us are committing the same mistakes that we did. So I'm trying to actually prevent that with our stories and everything. So that's why I have
So
this little
what are the
platform out
mistakes that they
here.
making?
Well,
Can
okay,
you repeat that again? What
mistakes
mistakes?
the mistakes that we're making, we're talking about, people because they didn't read the contract, or people getting chipped
Oh,
for their
okay.
money, and
Okay.
then what the and a lot of people, believe it or not, who are in the movement, I hate to say, either have cases on them or anything like that, whether it be either street ish or or personal ish. So I'm seeing like from our movement, people are coming after us committing the same mistake. So what I'm trying to
Okay.
do is like with historias urbanas, I'm trying to educate the youth. So therefore they won't have to commit the same mistakes that our generation did.
Okay. Nice. Nice. That's what's up, man. That's what's up, man.
Yeah.
I like this, man. I'll support it.
Mhm.
Thank you, bro. Yeah.
How you been though? What's up with you?
So well, I've been living the married life. I got married in 2021. So, I'm living with my wife out here in Philadelphia.
Okay.
Um I know that there's like little urban movement out here too, but I haven't really been trying to connect because it's like I'm busy, I do whatever. So if I'm gonna really try to connect, hopefully this year I'll get like an automobile or something like that, so I could actually go to New York often and really try to connect with my people out there.
Okay.
So you know how it is. Yo, you was in Spain recently, right?
Yeah, we went to Spain. We're going back in
Or that
April.
was that's what's up.
Yeah, we're going back.
That's what's up. Because I was talking to Flint the other day, and we were talking. I was talking to Flint and Vita the other day. So I'm gonna try to cop some of the merch too.
Yo,
So therefore, whenever y'all go to Spain, you do what you got to do.
definitely, man. Good looking, bro. We're going back in April, so you already know.
Interesting.
Got you. Yeah. So what dates do you have set up in Spain though? I'm like, what cities y'all gonna be performing in?
We're going to
Or is it
Granada.
gonna
That's
be
like Granada is basically one of the same cities that we went. That's the city of Young Beef. That's his town.
Oh, okay.
You know who Young Beef is, right?
Cause I've heard of the name, but I can't really say that. Okay, I know the name because there was a guy that
Yeah,
I was actually following, but then
he's basically like Lapi of Spain. He's like the pioneer of the trap movement over there.
Young Beef. Okay, because I remember that there was another guy that I was listening to Spain, but I haven't listened to him
Nah, but
anymore. What's
Young
his
Beef
name?
is Young Beef is like he's like the Bad Bunny of Spain. It's just that he's independent. Like he's not signed to no label or nothing like that, and he's he's not bigger because he doesn't want to, but he's the biggest artist in Spain. You know what I'm saying? And he was
Right.
inspired by us. Like he was inspired by us. Like he's a rapper today because of us.
Wow.
Yeah,
The
man.
guy the guy that I
We
was talking
inspired.
about,
Listen,
right?
we inspired a whole generation in Spain.
Yeah.
We didn't even know that shit. When we
I
went,
see.
when we was over there, we had people coming from everywhere. People that we never seen before, telling us that they grew up listening to us and that this was the best day of their lives. They've been waiting for us their whole lives. Yo, crazy. It was crazy.
Wow. That's love right there.
It was
And it
sick.
was like, and the thing is though, I was listening to Spanish hip hop like around 2010, right? Because there was a guy that he was signed to Junior. I don't know if he was signed to Junior Metra, but I've always heard through him like through the channels of Junior Metra, Big G, I
Yeah.
believe his name was, and he was actually spitting that ish. I don't know what happened to him, but he was actually spitting that ish though. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. I mean, in Spain, they always been doing their thing. I remember when I started connecting with them, it was back in the MySpace times. And that's when those kids, Young
Yes.
Beef and them, they were young and they were listening to our music because I remember I uploaded a lot of our songs in some of their websites over there, and that's how they got to our music, and that's how they got to us, and that's how everything really blew up, because we were the first ones doing trap in Spanish. Like niggas wasn't doing trap in Spanish, and
Yep.
we was doing it. We started that. You know what I'm saying? So they've been listening to us since
Yeah,
the time.
I remember. I remember because we were talking. Me and ARP from Washington Heights, we were talking about the first ones doing trap. A lot of people that actually believed it was R1. But I was like, I don't know,
R1, but
cause
R1 came up after Lappy put R1 on, and me and us and Lappy was our fan. You feel me? Like Lappy used to listen to us. We went to
yeah,
Beyond with
because
Lappy. Yeah, all them
yeah, I
niggas used
remember.
to listen to our shit,
Well,
man. He said a lot of them don't want to
I
recognize it, but
remember, I remember when I saw Trini Yayo up in how should I say the second Frente video with Big Mayo. So I knew that movement was big. You know what I mean? And when I went up and I actually met y'all in San Juan, I still got certain documentation, even though it's not all documentation of when I was there.
definitely. Yo, I
So
feel like you should start a podcast, bro, because you know a lot about the
you know,
Latin, musica urbana movement. I feel like you should really get on some podcast shit, because I want to do a podcast later. You know what I'm saying? But I think you should
yeah,
start next. For
yeah.
real.
Because the thing is though, that's what my goal is this year. So therefore, I'm trying to have my legal documentation, my place down and do that via my studio also. Because the thing
Yo,
is,
get
though,
on
I'm
that
trying
shit
to
and let me know.
do
Let
this.
me know whenever you want to start. I can help you. Get different things or, help you with the things that you need to get. Let you know what to get and stuff like that. Cause I know a little bit about that.
All right, gracias, hermano.
All right. So
Yeah,
I'm
because
gonna
you
hit you.
gotta
I'm gonna
do
let you
that.
go. I'm gonna hit you. You heard?
All
147.
right, yo, thanks for gracing me with your presence, bro.
All right, brother. Be safe.
All right, take care.
All
Bye.
right, bye.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was my homie, Hungry Ham. He's actually one of the pioneers of the Dominican rap movement, because it's a big movement that well, I could tell you that in New York, a lot of these guys, they actually started out with nothing, and now they have a fan base. They're actually doing their own tours and everything. So my thing is that now in the Dominican Republic, you have one entity that's controlling everything, and there's a lot of talent. There's a lot of urban talent in the Dominican Republic, but they're not getting the right representation. So that's why I'm trying to actually do this, and hopefully it'll actually evolve to a podcast or whatsoever the case may be. So I'm gonna actually talk to Hungry Hand behind the scenes of what to do and everything once I get my business space.
Okay, fine. Cool. Cool. That's real good.
Yeah,
So what are you thinking about Radical's stream earlier today?
I believe it was great, and the reason it's great because you actually heard everybody's inputs about Tariq Nasheed, and how certain people view us and everything. So
Hmm.
you got the Caribbean, the Afro Caribbean viewpoints, and the Afro American viewpoints. So with that said, it was actually good that Radical actually build, and it was actually, how shall I say, you actually learned something from it. As in other platforms, you actually don't really learn anything, and you just want to nitpick, fight, cause something ratchet, and then you could say like, "Oh yeah, we're having a debate," when the fact is the debate is not respectful when it actually has to resort to name calling whatsoever the case may be. So with that said, to actually that Radical actually had that talk, and it was actually on the respectful level where everybody was talking. I actually like that, and I hope that he actually has more of those to come.
Yeah. I think when it comes to this topic, it's going to have to be a closed panel or a semi-closed panel, because if you open up to all, that's when that brings in the peanut gallery. Okay,
I mean,
this talk there.
I mean, yeah, yeah, you're right. The peanut gallery.
Yeah, I mean, look. Unfortunately, you have certain individuals that join these platforms. They have nothing constructive to add. They just want to go there to to spread their rhetoric. And I'm glad to see that Radical is making it a space so everyone can share their views respectfully. And I think he's getting sick and tired of all this Jerry Springer stuff that people bring to the platform.
Yeah, I mean, it's not only platforms. It's just that the whole. It's like, okay, for example, my generation, and I guess people who after me whatsoever were raised on Jerry Springer, right?
Hmm.
But then after a while, Jerry Springer started getting tired because it started being of the same thing. He was used to actually change up a little while, bring a funny story or whatsoever the case may be. But now in some of these spaces, I'm not even talking about my own, but I'm talking about in some of these spaces where it's just some pure ignorance or whatsoever the case may be. When it's pure ignorance and certain people be on the platform and overstay welcome, they're like, okay, how are we gonna make this interesting? Okay, we're gonna call you this, we're gonna call you that. Okay, so what people, I guess they who are not far ahead of these platforms or whatsoever the case may be, what they don't know is that maybe later on, unless if they're not making money off it or sufficient money of it their YouTube channel, if they have a regular job or anything like that, this might actually come them to bite them back in the behind. So as me, I'm employed by a company, and there's only certain people in my job that know that actually do YouTube. I don't get paid for it. I'm not going to mention where I work at, or in certain aspects, I'm not going to actually talk about my job life because, to be as it is, there's certain individuals that I've seen that they don't know about YouTube streets because in real life it's actually more hectic than the YouTube streets. So from the YouTube streets, from what I've gathered, from me actually being a content creator and on panels, that some of these individuals, the ones who have your nonsensical rhetoric, they do not really have lives. Because if I had a life, right, why would I be why would I go and make a channel spreading my rhetoric, right? A person might go to one place or whatsoever the case may be. But if you're going to a place and you're not actually showing people on who you are, but yet you're just making your content straight about rhetoric, it's not going to be it's not going to be a good channel after all. Because let's say that you do spread your rhetoric and you have your cult following, right? If you're not actually showing yourself on what you're doing or anything like that, you might lose that following too. Because I'm gonna say this for an example. There's a guy in social media platforms, right? But yet he still has a cult following, even though he's fighting the case for the moment. So with that said, he's a, he's actually changing, I guess, certain people's lives with his rhetoric or how he's doing stuff. There's certain stuff that he might say that piss off people, and people actually focus on that. But then when you actually see what he's actually saying, certain people by like this guy's actually spitting some knowledge. So when you actually spit some knowledge, and this has happened time and time again within, I guess, the Me Too movements and all the other movements that we currently now are dealing with, you're gonna actually be hated. So when when you go against the status quo and you see more people, they're saying like, "Yo, thank you for getting me out of depression," or "Thank you for standing up, for making me stand up for myself and everything." You're gonna actually get a lot of pushback because certain people who are who have the change of power, they don't like seeing people think for themselves. And in the long run, when you have a lot of these agendas that was actually discussed in the radical Latino stream,
Yeah.
you see the basis is that certain people are not thinking for themselves, and
Mhm.
it's just a sad state we live in. And then what one of the guys, I guess he was from Philadelphia, that actually was saying he was talking about, or somebody else was talking about how the United States school system is messed up. I actually agree with that because for a first world country, I guess that's what we call the United States. What is what is the only thing that everybody they think that works, but yet we're actually falling behind in like when it actually comes to like school score, intelligence scores, or anything like that. It's the schooling. So if people were more educated, I'm just saying for everybody, you know what I'm saying? Would we be more rational or more pessimist? That's one thing. That's one thing I'm just trying to see because in other societies, I mean, because I actually watch other newscasters and everything like that, it shows that most of the people who have education, they actually run stuff, but then when they actually run stuff, you actually have like a more civil discord than an uncivil discord with people. And my mother always
Well,
used to say, like, it's better to be civil. At first, I never understood what that meant. But then after she passed and everything, and I start seeing the world for myself, I could see what she was actually talking about. You may not have to agree or like the person, but at least you could actually handle yourself with some respect, as if you're not gonna go and actually respect the person at all. So I actually see her standpoint now. Me going into my years.
yeah. Armando, I'm gonna head off because I'm trying to get some rest because I haven't had much sleep this week. But as
I
always,
know.
it's a pleasure to be here, and I just want to encourage everyone that catches this on the playback or live. If you have not done so, please subscribe to Don Armando's channel. As always, it's been a pleasure, and I hope to see you sometime in the near future. Have a good night. Shout out to everyone that's listening. Take care.
Okay. Well, it was nice having you on my panel, Dom Jose.
Take care.
You too. Yeah, I'm just gonna relax and see